All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the stream. We're here for more Pace Online.
In this game because I'm sure a lot of you, especially all you people who are here for Mario, I'm sure a lot of you guys aren't super familiar with this game. So I figured the best that I can do to explain what's going on to you guys, the easier it is for all of us to enjoy the game. So the basic movement tech of this game is called the neutral long jump. Now let me break down the neutral long jump for you. So the neutral long jump is composed of three main parts. It involves charging forward by double tapping R1. It involves canceling the charge by pressing circle and holding L1 to go into first person, so. And then it involves pressing R1 and X to go into a long jump. So this is what a standard long jump looks like. And when I do a neutral long jump, you can see I get a lot more distance with a lot more speed attached to it. So the reason it's called a neutral long jump is because I will be going neutral on the left analog stick, aka I will not be holding a single direction on it, hence neutral. So every bit of movement technology is based around the neutral long jump. So we have standard neutral long jump, we have what are called lag jumps right there. They were found, a lot of this movement tech was found in the online multiplayer of this game, and then was brought into the single player experience years later. We also have technology called whip jumps. It's the same basic concept, although we use this whip to extend our long jump even further than we would normally get the distance for. We also have a couple of other things that are kind of useful. You'll be seeing them throughout the run, kind of scattered little bits. We have what's called a proxy. So it's the same basic concept as a neutral long jump, except I'll be swapping my weapon to the turret and then throwing turrets as I cancel my charge. And what this will do, instead of having horizontal momentum, it'll transfer all my horizontal momentum to vertical momentum. So I'll show you an example of a proxy right here. As you can see, it wasn't a very impressive looking proxy, although this will be the least impressive proxy you'll see all run. Once again, it translates horizontal momentum to vertical momentum. That was found in Spyro the Dragon speedrunning. That's where the term proxy originates from. And it's a pretty applicable term for this game as well, so we just stole it. And finally, we have the insta-whip. Now, you saw me do a whip jump before. We can also instantly swap to the whip by canceling our charge in midair. And whip jumping like that. It's good for maneuvering some tight corners. You'll see the practical applications of it as we go through the game. So, I have quite a lot to talk about when it comes to this game, so you're going to be hearing me blather on and on for the next half hour. About a whole bunch of stuff that a lot of you probably don't have much reference level for. But I promise you this is a very visually appealing game. Very, very cool to watch, very cool to experience. Lots of really cool movement tech. The first 4 to 5 planets are going to be difficult, so I'm going to try my best to navigate commentating. I am solo commentating, by the way. I don't have anybody helping me. So this might be a bit of a mess. This is far too early in the morning for me. So we're going to give it a go. I'll be starting down my own timer, so hopefully I can at least get that part right. If I can hit the space bar when I'm meant to hit the space bar, I'll be in the clear. So here we go. We're going to start the run. So the way that we time this game, we don't start on file load. We use Speed Demo's archive timing, or SDA timing, which means we start on first input. So what's going to happen is you're going to see 3 load screens go by. And then when you see the planet in front of you, there's going to be exactly 4 seconds until I gain control of Ratchet, and that's when the timer will begin. So you'll see the timer count down from -4 to 0 as we see the planet in front of us, and then as it hits 0, that's when it'll start. So this is load screen number 1. Load screen number 2. Load screen number 3. And now I will start the timer. And let's begin, shall we? So first I'm going to do a sequence of menuing here to set up everything I'll need for the remainder of the game. Do a little tricky strat there called a cactus proxy. That is a very big run killer. So I'm very happy that I was able to get that, because messing up the very first trick in the game would have been really embarrassing, and I don't really want Twitch chat to clown on me this early in the morning. Oh no, I died. That is an intentional death. If I did the strat correctly, what's going to happen is that I'm going to skip the entire next planet. I won't know if the strat works until I get to the next planet. So what's going to happen, this is called Quarp or Quark Warp. If it works properly, it warps us to Quark. That's kind of hard to say, warp to Quark, warp to Quark. So here's another example of a proxy. I'm going to double jump out of it, conserve my momentum, not do it correctly, have to do a backup right here. And charge into the end, and I almost just hit the spacebar as if I was about to split. This is not a segmented timer. I just gotta let the timer roll. Gotta get used to it. So we're gonna find out once I land on this planet if I actually hit Quarp correctly. If it did, it's gonna look like something weird just happened that just like shot me right to the end. You're gonna see a weird sequence of cutscenes, hopefully. Yep, there we go. And the boss is dead. We kill him in one hit. And we're done with the planet. It's as simple as that. A lot of the bosses you'll find in this game are very easy. The bosses themselves are not the hard part. It's not like some other speed games where the bosses might actually be the walls themselves, in so much that there's some specific strats you have to use on bosses. All the bosses in this game die very quickly. It's the movement that's the hard part. So, coming up now, we have the first and pretty much only major sequence break of the game. So any of you who have played this game casually, you'll know that when you get about halfway through the game, you come back to this planet right here, and it unlocks a specific section of the game called Virtual Reality Training. Little tiny mess up right there, but that's fine. We'll recover. But what a lot of people don't know is that the Virtual Reality Training section is actually loaded into the planet the very first time you visit it. So what we're going to do is, we're already out of bounds, but we're going to go one step further. We've got to keep going out of bounds a little bit to get to VR. We're going to go out here with the turret clip, and we're going to whip jump out here. And if I do this correctly, I'm going to take this a little safe. There we go. Now we're in the virtual reality segment. And we're going to use these turrets to clip through some walls right here. And one more clip for good measure. And look at that. We're done with VR. I just skipped roughly 40% of the game. We will be going back to a couple of the planets at a later point in the run. However, right now our major concern is getting through the first few planets. I'm actually surprised this is going as well as it is. I'm very happy to take any marathon run where I don't die in the first 4 to 5 planets. I mean, obviously we still have a couple planets to go, but I warmed up for this run by playing Danganronpa for an entire week, so maybe not my brightest decision, but it seems to be paying off so far. Although this is kind of the hardest planet of the 5. So you're going to be seeing a lot of different speed tech exhibited one after the other on this planet. So these are called hyper swing hovers. I preserve my momentum on those little nodes and jettison myself to the end. This is the second boss of the game. And the boss is dead. And so we have to actually kill that boss. A lot of people, when they first joined this community, they said, do you really have to kill that boss? It seems like you could just skip him. I don't know why he would be standing in your way. I mean, you couldn't clearly just get past him in the first place. We do have to kill that boss, otherwise it soft locks the game, unfortunately. But the bright side is, he does die very quickly. And while I was explaining the boss, I already went through that other sequence of movement. Good Dax overall, I would say. Not my favorite Dax by any means, but it's one I will, once again, definitely take. Unfortunately, I did not get a 420 Dax. I got a 424, which is disgusting. I'm so sorry that I couldn't be danker for you all. It is my apologies. I always aim to be as dank as possible. So coming up is the 5th of the 5 difficult planets in the very beginning of the game. This is Obani Gemini. First, you're supposed to get through this by doing this very long puzzle sequence where you, like, shift a bunch of lasers around, but we're just going to skip the puzzle entirely by going to the end of the puzzle and clipping through this barrier. Nice and simple, right? And now we're on the second half of the planet, and there is a very difficult trick here where I'm going to do what's called Obani double long jump. So as you can see, I swapped packs. I had the heli pack on the entire time, and now I have the thruster pack on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a thruster pack long jump into a heli pack long jump. And I did not get it. However, I think it's a pretty cool looking trick, so I'm going to go back and try it again. I could just keep progressing through the level, but I think marathon runs are meant for swag. If you're not willing to swag out in a marathon run, when are you willing to swag out, right, Twitch chat? So let's give it another go, shall we? Should be good. There it is. That is a 2-frame trick at 60 frames per second. Not exactly the easiest trick, so it's only naturally mess it up every now and then. I'll take a second try. That is not too terribly bad. So moving on, now we have 2 planets back-to-back that are kind of exhibiting a different area of skill within the game. A lot of less experienced runners complain about these planets because there's not as much movement. It's more about knowing how to manipulate waves of enemies and how to efficiently kill them in a very quick manner. So a lot of people tend to call these next planets auto-scrollers, although I feel like if you're losing 30 seconds to other runners, it's not really an auto-scroller. Although there actually is one auto-scroller segment, but I'll let you guys know when that is. It's not coming up just yet. I won't give you guys the liberty to clown on this game just yet. So we're going to start off here with the Rhino. This weapon is very familiar to any Ratchet fan. It kills everything. That's basically it. It's just a weapon that kills everything. It's the most powerful weapon in the game, and we just used it to kill all those enemies right there. And now we're using the sniper rifle to clear out the sniper or the dropships as they spawn. Now we're pulling out a gun called the Rift Ripper. It, you know, rips rifts in reality and sucks up everything. Kind of a cool gun. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to time a death abuse as the mission ends here. And the reason I'm death abusing here is because, as you can see, the mission erfüllt screen, or mission complete in English, that command prompter pops up at the end of every mission. Now, normally if you're playing on PlayStation 2, what you can do is when you see mission complete, you can quit out of the mission and it'll put you into the next mission, saving a couple of seconds. You cannot pause the game on PS3 while the game is auto-saving, unfortunately. So we have to be a little bit more creative. Since we can't pause the game and exit the mission, what we can do instead is just death abuse. So you're going to see me throwing Ratchet off a cliff over and over, but I promise he'll always come back. He's a Lombax. He lands on his feet or something like that. I don't know. I assume Lombaxes are pretty close to space cats. So the reason we're playing this game in German, I'm sure that me calling it Mission Erfüllt probably caught some of your attention. The reason that we play in German is that it saves 3.7 seconds over English. I'm not kidding, that's not a joke, we actually time that. The second fastest language is Spanish. It loses 0.2 to German. Yes, once again, we actually sat down and timed this. So we put the game in German because it's just the fastest way to play it. So we're done with Blackwater City, now we're moving on to Marcadia. You're going to see a really cool proxy coming up here as long as I can actually hit it. It's a bit of a tricky proxy. It tends to mess me up sometimes in runs, so we'll see if it treats me any better today. So, there we go. Not too shabby. And now we're going to start the Marcadia missions. Once again, it's going to be a lot of wave management. Nothing too crazy going on here, although this mission can be a little finicky at times. So I'm just going to be setting up weapons that kind of automatically kill enemies in front of me without me having to do anything. Such as the Rift Rippers, such as the turrets. They'll be targeting on enemies so that I don't have to. And I'm going to basically be trying to snipe these dropships as soon as they spawn once again. To kind of explain the dropships a little further, a weird property of these dropships is that you cannot hit them in the center. If you hit them in the exact center, they have invulnerability frames. So if you want to one-shot them, you have to shoot them in very specific spots. So basically what I'm trying to say is every time I one-shot a dropship, it's kind of hard, and I kind of want FaZe Gaming to sponsor me. Please. Please do it, FaZe Gaming. I'm begging you. That's... please, somebody. Anybody. So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of cleanup here on these missions. Nothing too crazy or exciting going on here, although the next mission is going to be a lot more difficult. It's going to be a turret command mission. Now, the turret may give some people nightmares depending on how well they were able to do that mission when they played Ratchet Clank casually. It's not super difficult, although what I'm going to have to do is kind of lead my shots a little bit. So you're going to be seeing me once again trying to lead around the invulnerability spots in the dropships and trying to lead my shots to the very, very front of the ship. This can be kind of a tricky dropship mission at times. You'll kind of see I have to be a little careful with how I lead my shots. I'm going to try my best to look away from explosions like a cool kid and not see the dropship explode. If I can turn away as the dropship is exploding, that saves even more time. And the saucers, although they're there, they're not really much of a problem as long as I kill a couple of them. What can happen if they start aggroing me like they're doing right now instead of aggroing my guys, because I don't think I have any guys left, it starts to lag the game a little bit. A lot of this game at the highest levels is lag reduction. So I'm going to be trying to do everything I can to reduce as much lag as possible. And I am finished with that mission. And now I'm entering a 2-minute timed mission. So, Denver, if you would like to take it away and read any donations that have come in, feel free to do so.
Yeah, hey everyone again. No donations at the moment, but we are pretty early on into this run to be fair. Just want to take a second to shout out really what we're doing here. We're raising money in this PACE event here, of course, for the Hackensack University Medical Center Foundation. That's what we're raising money for, and the money is going directly to frontline relief to fight against COVID-19. So we do appreciate all your support so far. We're over $10,500 of our
Wow.
goal. So keep it coming if you can, everyone. But of course, we appreciate it so far, and also it's been a really great event so far. And hopefully, you like what you see. You can follow not only the Speedrun channel if you'd like to see a lot more variety content, but also take a second to follow all of the different runners and hosts and commentators, etc. that we had throughout this event. A lot of really awesome people. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Thanks for donating, everyone, and yeah, keep it coming. Let's finish this event strong.
Well, thank you so much for that, Denver. I know a lot of you guys, I think you said in chat that you couldn't exactly hear what he said. He's basically explaining that the charity of this is the Hackensack University Medical Center Foundation, which goes to support COVID-19 frontline workers. It's a very, very good cause. And I think if I'm reading this correctly, the goal is $15,000 right now. We're already at $10,500. So
yeah, that's correct. So it's yeah, it's been going really great, and of course we still have all of the rest of the day. So keep it coming, everyone. We appreciate your support a lot so far.
Yeah, that'd be really fantastic. I mean, it's such a great cause. I gotta say, I mean, I gotta really give a shout out to GSA, CLG, and all the people who have helped to organize PACE, because, you know, this hasn't been an easy thing to try to navigate on their end, you know? It's not every day that you book a venue, you get all the logistics planned out, and then all of a sudden a pandemic comes and ruins all that and uproots the whole idea. So the fact they were able to put this online so quickly is really, really commendable. I mean, really, I mean, can I get some love in the chat for these guys? Like some angel thumps, any emote you guys like, some lulls, some keck W's, I don't know, whatever you guys want to put in to show some support, please. Please do it now. I mean, these guys are working their butts off trying to get all this operating smoothly, so it is a very, very commendable job on their part. So yeah, so what I'm going to do at the end of this mission, you're going to see me death abuse, but it's going to be a different kind of death abuse. I've been trying to death abuse on all these other missions as early as possible. Here I'm going to do it as late as possible to activate a glitch called Ghost Ratchet. Now what's going to happen is, because I'm inside the mud as the next cutscene loads, the game thinks I'm still dead because I entered the death state when I hit the mud. So now when it pulls me out of that death state, I can walk through walls. As I'm doing right here. I'm going to take this a little safe, because if I mess this up, it's basically run over. So now we just went through all those walls, and we beat what was otherwise a 4 to 5 minute segment in 16 seconds, something like that. So yeah, you're probably wondering, logically, why don't we just use Ghost Ratchet in more spots if it saves that much time and allows us to walk through walls? The problem is that there aren't many spots for us in the game to actually activate Ghost Ratchet. It requires a very specific set of conditions, and it also wears off when you transition between planets, so you have to always activate it on the native planet to be able to use it. It's a little bit complicated. So we're through the first half of the game, just like that, very quick and to the point so far. Now we're in the back half of the game, and it only gets harder from here. So what's going to happen now is it's just going to be a series of planets where... Okay, so in every single Marathon Ratchet run, We always have to explain this. So the way that a lot of these levels are designed, the devs and Insomniac, when they were making the levels, they tried to be as efficient with the way that they made the levels as possible. So a lot of times, the ends of levels are very, very close to the beginnings of levels, because they didn't want to make it so a lot of players were backtracking and things like that. I know this kind of seems like a very superfluous thing to mention. I mean, you know, this is a very natural thing in a lot of games now where, you know, you don't necessarily have to worry about backtracking. Although back in the day, keep in mind, this is 2004. There were a ton of games. A ton of games that had a lot of backtracking in it. So this is actually quite the revolutionary concept to have this many planets that actually had that sort of a feature. And I know that there's a lot happening right now that I'm not necessarily touching on. But I'm trying to get through as many things as I possibly can. I'll try to focus on what's in front of me from here on in Twitch chat. How about that? Try to keep things as simple as I can for you. So we're through with Annihilation Nation now. This is one of the backtracking planets that I had, or not backtracking, but like when I sequence broke, I said we would revisit a couple of planets. We are done with those revisits now. So now we're going to go on to Holostar Studios, and this has quite a tricky little glitch in it called Scrunchless. What you're supposed to do, there's a monkey over in the later room on this planet. You'll see, if I kind of go forward and to the right, there's a room right over there, and there's a monkey named Scrunch. Now, what you're normally supposed to do is, you're supposed to bring Scrunch with you, have him go over this gap, and pull up a drawbridge. We're going to skip getting Scrunch altogether. Although, it is quite tricky, because if I hit it, it only saves 20 seconds, which is quite devastating in comparison to the 45 I will lose if I miss the trick. So hopefully I won't miss it. That'd be quite a shame if I did. But let's just give it a go. Let's see what we got here. Alright, we have hit Scrunchless. Fun fact, I've actually never missed that in a marathon run ever. I've done this in about 4 or 5 live marathon runs, and I've never missed it. So, the streak may end someday, but today is not that day. So now that we're done with Scrunchless, we're going to fight one of the more annoying boss fights in the game, and I'm sure that many of you would remember this boss fight as well. What he's going to try to do, when we get him to about 60% health, he's going to try to fly away from us. But we're going to knock him back into the wall here. And even though we're supposed to be practicing social distancing right now, it's okay because Clank is a robot and therefore cannot spread bacteria. So we're going to get up in this guy's face and prevent him from getting away from us. And if I do this correctly, he will instantly drop and the fight will end. Very nice. We're done with that fight. This whole planet is just one nail biter after another. So the fact that I've already gotten 2 out of 3 major nail biters feels good. So here's number 3 as far as the nail biters of this planet are concerned. This proxy is very annoying, but I hit it first try. Not too bad. So what I'm going to attempt on this planet, and I'm only going to attempt it once, I'm going to attempt the absolute hardest trick in the entire speedrun. It is a double frame perfect strat. So again, this is a 60 frame per second game. That means my timing window to hit this trick, I have to hit R1 with a timing window of, what is it, 0.016 seconds, and then I have to do it again. So if I hit it, it's going to be sick. But the odds of me hitting it are not super good. We're going to try it. Ah! I got one, but I missed the second. That's okay. I gave it a shot. I gave it the old college try. I don't know what happened there. Okay, it happened again, but that time I was ready for it. So now we're just going to do this the normal way. That is, unfortunately, the super duper ultra mega run killer of this category. It saves about 15 seconds if you hit it optimally, or optimally if you hit it. That's the order of that sentence, Zem. And if you miss it, it kills your run. So, that's fun. So we're going to try to clip through this wall now. This wall can be a little finicky at times, but we get through after a few untimely bonks. And now we're going to enter... What is this? The third to last boss fight of the game? This is the Sour Please OST, the Sour Please boss fight music, so I can please see some Sour Pleases. You have about 10 seconds before you have to stop spamming it. So please make sure you do it right now. And the boss is finished. So that's everyone's favorite soundtrack in the game, the Courtney Gears boss fight. If that sounds familiar for some reason, just think about which popular 2000s pop star that could be referencing. Courtney Gears. Courtney Gears. Hilary Duff. Alright. With that mystery out of the way, we're now going to go on to Zeldrin Starport. So remember what I said about the ends of levels being stuck, or being placed right at the beginning? This one's kind of an oddity. The ending for this level is placed actually below our ship. So we're going to clip out of the wall, we're going to drop all the way down and activate the cutscene trigger from below. Skipping, I'd say roughly 45 to 60 seconds of gameplay, something like that, I don't know. I would time it, but that would require me to be a nerd, and I don't really feel like being more of a nerd than pointing out that German is 3.7 seconds faster than English, so. Alright, with that planet done, let me think, are we on the super cool planet yet? Yeah, okay, so we're about to do one of the most visually impressive and aesthetically pleasing planets in the run. It's also coincidentally one of the hardest. I would put this probably as the second or third hardest planet in the game. So a lot of runs die to this planet, but as long as it treats me at least somewhat decently, we'll be fine here. Let me think. Ooh, I haven't done this planet in a while. Alright, I gotta think. I gotta get out of the mindset of playing Danganronpa and being a filthy weeb, and I have to get inside the mindset of a speedrunner. Okay, go fast. Don't stare anime girls. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. So, first we're gonna long jump over this barrier. I said over the barrier, not behind the barrier. We're gonna proxy up this wall. I said proxy up the wall, not don't proxy up the wall. Alright, there we go. Now we're gonna whip jump out over to here, which is way out of bounds. We're gonna activate the boss cutscene from right out here. We're gonna beat the boss in 2 hits. And now we're gonna backtrack. So there's a taxi there that would normally take us to our ship. However, the taxi's a little slow, so I've got a better idea. We're going to up-warp ourselves. Gonna double jump over to there, and we're gonna whip jump back to our ship. That is a hard sequence to hit. But the fact that I didn't screw it up too badly, I'll take it. I'll definitely take that. With that potential disaster out of the way, I get about 2 more planets of downtime before I have to start worrying again. Watch me say that, and then I royally screw up the 2 supposed easy planets. But this one, Crash Site, is a very good example of how cool whip jumps can look and exactly how powerful they are in our movement tech arsenal. No pun intended. So you're going to see me cover this vast expanse of distance with 1 whip jump. It's going to be pretty baller, if I may say so myself. So you're going to see it coming up right here. I just crossed that entire giant chasm. It feels good, Twitch chat. It feels good. So I think at this point I should probably mention what NG plus no quit exploit stands for. I'm assuming that most, if not all of you, know that NG plus stands for New Game Plus, ergo Challenge Mode, which is why I have all the weapons unlocked, because they carry over from a previous playthrough. But I'm assuming you guys don't know what no QE or no quit exploit means. So we have a glitch in this game called quit exploit, where if you quit out of a file with a specific bolt counter, challenge mode number, frame time, and planet ID number, I think those are the 4 qualifications. If you quit out with a very specific value for all 4 of those, we can manipulate the pointer. Now, if you guys don't know what the pointer means, the pointer is basically it kind of establishes the value for all the different items. it says this item has this identification number and this is where you find it. If we move the pointer around, we can move around some of the values. So when we activate quit exploit, what it allows us to do is put an item that we got at the end of that planet with the giant chasm. It allows us to put the item that we get at the end of that planet inside the vendor on the 3rd planet. So basically, if you're having a hard time visualizing that, what that means is we are able to skip from the 3rd planet of the game to the 4th to last, saving 15 minutes. It's really cool. It's a really cool glitch, but this is no quit exploit, so we're obviously not doing that. If you want to see a speedrun of that, you can always go to speedrun.com/rack3 and then go to the NG Plus tab and then click on any number of runs if you want to see it, really. So as we start to get later and later into the game, actually, I don't want to explain world record stuff first. I was going to say, Twitch chat always loves knowing what the world record is, but first I'm going to explain that I'm about to do a trick here called insta-clipping. This is a really hard trick, and it saves 7 seconds if I hit it. So here we go. And I missed it, of course. I'm going to try to go for a backup here. I'm going to try it again. There we go. If I can set myself up in an exact way, I can instantly clip through that little bridge right there. Because the bridge is very slow, so we don't want to have to ride it. So we instantly clip out of it, which saves a bit of time. I would say that backup that I did saves 3 to 4 seconds over just taking the bridge, so it's still faster overall. So anyway, what I was going to say was, world record for this category is 2806, so unfortunately this is nowhere near world record level, because we are on the 2nd to last planet now, so we still got some time to go. However, this is still pretty good for a marathon run. Ooh, okay, let me see if I can do this backup here. Ooh, this is a tough backup. Oh, man. That is such a hard backup to hit. Okay. So I had to really focus on that. So my marathon record is 30:01. If I can hit that, that'd be kind of cool. I'd love to get a sub 30, although I think it's just barely possible at this point. Actually, no, I think I'm a little bit beyond it being possible at this point. But, you know, I'll still take a 30. I'm cool with that. So yeah, that backup, I know I didn't really explain what was going on there, but it was basically a proxy into a very specific whip jump. And that is one of the more difficult proxy and whip jump sequences to hit. I think this is the hardest planet in the whole run, this planet right here, because it's already really difficult. And the fact that it's the last planet means that if you're here on PB pace, you're dealing with a lot of nerves. You're dealing with a lot of things running through your head, all the ways you can possibly screw up. I would normally do a cool kid strat and try to do something really risky, although I missed it pretty much every time when I was warming up today, so I'm just going to do the safe strat. That loses me about 4 seconds, but we're able to finish the planet by activating the cutscene trigger from outside the door, because a lot of the cutscene triggers in this game are rectangular, meaning that like they kind of jettison out in weird ways sometimes. So we're able to activate them from weird spots. So now I'm on the final boss, and I'm going to try to beat this final boss as fast as I can. Anybody who's played this game casually knows that you get this boss to 75% health, and then he goes to phase 2, although if I do this properly, he will not go to phase 2. I will kill him in phase 1, thus saving a couple seconds. See if we can make this happen. It's not too terribly hard, although if I'm not paying attention, I can very easily mess this up. So we're going to manipulate him over to here. If you're wondering why a giant robot is the main villain of a game with an anthropomorphic weasel in it, I just don't have answers for you. I don't have answers for you. I'm sorry. And we killed him in first phase. So now we're coming up to the final boss here. We're gonna shoot him 16 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Hello? Timer? Timer? Well, you guys got it. It was like a 30-12 or something like that. I don't know. I'll take it. So yeah, that's that. That's all of Ratchet & Clank 3 done in half an hour. I gotta say, once again, I want to give a shout out to GSA, CLG, and all the workers on Pace for doing an amazing thing. I want to say thank you to everybody who was in chat for watching this run. I know that, again, most of you are here for the Mario Relay. However, the fact that you guys were here early and got to see a speed game that's pretty freaking cool as well. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys didn't find me to be too much of a wiener. If you would like to follow my stream, you can follow me at Xem92. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Xemmypoo, Xemmypoo. I also want to say this in particular, getting a good run here. I'm just going to reset the timer. I want to say this run in particular means a lot to me, because this kind of goes without saying, and I'm not going to make this into a big statement, but I did want to say that the state of the world right now is a little insane. I think we can all agree on that. And it kind of stressed me out so much that I actually wasn't able to sleep at all last night. I did this run on 0 hours of sleep. So I'm really glad it went as well as it did. Obviously, there were some hiccups. Obviously, I had some moments on commentary where I wasn't, you know, being as cool as I possibly could have been or something like that. But I want to thank all of you guys, everybody who watched this run, everybody who helped organize this run, because this was like 30 minutes of escape for me. This was a nice therapeutic 30 minutes of escape. So I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. It really does mean the world to me. So thank you all so much. And with that, I don't really have much else to say.
All right, well, thank you for the great run. It was a lot of fun to watch. I definitely learned some stuff. I've only seen really bits and pieces of this game before, so a lot of fun to check that out. And yeah, thanks for sticking around, everyone in chat. A great cause, obviously. This is definitely going towards some good stuff here, of course, for benefiting Hackensack University Medical Center. Your donations going directly to COVID-19 relief. So thank you so much for supporting the stream. We'll be coming up with some Mario here in just a minute. Yeah, thanks again, Zem, for the great run. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, check out his channel, everyone. And yeah, we'll see you soon, guys, for some Mario. Stick
Bye,
around.
everyone.